Serge Simon, welcome to TPM. Serge, can you introduce yourself to the people, please?
Yeah, I'm Serge Simon. I'm the managing director of Edialux since more than 30 years now. I started in the 80s, so you can imagine it's a long time ago. I'm a member of a few associations in Europe, like CEPA, like the French Association, like the Swiss Association since 30 years too. I've been at the creation of many actions, for example, in the 80s, the first training sessions in France were created by Edialux in France. And now everybody is doing training, but at this stage, training was quite new. The people were using products, but they were not knowing what they were using at the end. And so we decided to show them and explain them what they were using. Right. The fact is, even in the 80s, I was considering that the pest management companies were not just biocide users, but companies who were supposed to maintain public hygiene. Mm. And my purpose has always been the same since the beginning is don't talk about yourself all the time, because at the end you only interest yourself, but talk about what you are useful for. Mm. And pest management companies, like all the companies we know, they are very useful. What they do exactly, it doesn't mean we don't care. It means that it's useful for other people, for the public hygiene, for the food industry, yes, for the hospitals. I remember so many times I went on the field, for example, with young children getting ill in hospitals. In fact, it was just cockroaches transporting diseases from one room to another. So you can imagine how many lives pest management companies have saved just doing their job and not only applying products. My job is to sell products, but in fact, the part of using product is only one part of pest management. Mm-hmm. It's not because you use product that you have done your job. Your job is to understand. That means be trained, understand what is your, let's say, enemy. But in fact, it's not your enemy. It's because you know, like I know that some pest can be a pest in somewhere and not a pest in another place.
Yeah, actually beneficiary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same for a weed.
Absolutely.
It's a weed, but in some other place, it's something very beautiful.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's a matter of philosophy, and in the end, we have to jointly work with pests.
Exactly, and the same. So all my work in CEPA, for example, has been to prove them that they were not only users of biocides, but a part of the public hygiene and maintaining a lifestyle and hygiene and let's say integrity for the whole society, better than just using product, which is not easy. Because biocides are necessary sometimes, like antibiotic, for example. But when you are ill, you don't use antibiotic. You see what happens, and then if you have no choice, you use antibiotic.
True.
That means all pest management companies should have, as I always say, a toolbox, including biocide. But the purpose is not using first biocide and then see what happens. You have first to understand what is happening. What is the problem? Is it really a cockroach problem? Is it really a rodent problem? Where do they come from? Is it a supplier problem? Is it a problem coming from the inside, from the outside? Do we close every window? I give you just an example. Some people, they call me and they say, we have problems with some flying insects in fact, when you analyze it, you understand that they open the windows at night, and it's only insects coming from the outside. They are not, let's say, injuring the food. We are just catching insects who have a job to do outside. So, in fact, they just have to close.
Yeah, IPM again. Serge, can you tell everybody, I mean, you work at CEPA so much and you change a lot of how we work today. Actually, you formed the standards and helped to form it. So there is a new, very important document and a new era, or an old era now reintroduced with a new sense to CEPA and to pest managers in Europe, which is called the Memorandum of Understanding that everybody at CEPA is asking everybody else in the industry to sign. It's based on IPM, but why is it so important?
Because when we talk about IPM, we have a French word. We don't say eradication. We say maîtrise, which means management. Mm-hmm. That says that IPM is very important, because when we talk about integrated pest management, we say, what is the target? What do we want? We want zero insects, zero rodent, or do we want to manage them? It's depending. I'll give you an example. You have a production, I don't know, of tires, of what is your objective? And you have an hospital, and you have a zone where you have to make operations, for example. Mm-hmm. And it's not the same problem. So integrated pest management means that you have to use the right tool at the right moment. And this tool is not only a biocide. It can be an attractant. It can be a biocide, a rodenticide. It can be
a door seal. You know.
Exactly. You're right. It can be only training people. Mm-hmm. I have made training, for example, in the food industry for some of my customers, because they had problems. So I take half a day to explain how a tribolium can live, mm-hmm. just to make them understand that if they don't do anything, they don't clean, there's no
chance
for the pest management company to solve the problem, etc. IPM is very important because it makes you do the right thing at the right time, with the right tool.
So there is a study of the University of Nebraska that said that almost 90% of pest management is dependent on hygiene and building construction works like sealing or taking care of holes, etc. Would you agree?
If I say no, I'm not logical. Of course, I told in the 90s some pest management companies that even in some countries like I think it was at this time Japan, when they build a new new flat or new building, they have to training, mm-hmm. and they have to understand how rodents could enter this building, mm-hmm. which we never do in France, for example.
True, and not in Germany.
We just think about, is it beautiful or not? and then the rodents comes in, and we say, we have a problem. And we have to call a pest management company. It comes with a very strong product, and it will kill everything. That's imagine you call your doctor every time and say, doctor, I don't feel good, I want an antibiotic. You say, are you sure you need it? Yeah. And some people, what they want is an antibiotic.
I know.
And we have the same in France. And there are some of them they are used to. And the problem is that they are facing now some people who doesn't want any product. Mm. And sometimes they have to use also product just to solve the problem and then come back to something more soft.
Mm-hmm. So Serge, you talked about me.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. You talked to me earlier about your vision of the perfect pest control company, also based on the Memorandum of Understanding. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit about what you think with that. What do you think that is?
Yeah, in fact, the Memorandum of Understanding was created just to be sure that there's an agreement. It's an agreement, in fact, mm-hmm. between parties. On one side, the people using pest management, mm-hmm. and on the other side, the people doing pest management. Mm-hmm. What do they expect from the company who is doing which is doing the pest management? And as we all believe in CEPA, for example, that doing pest management is not only being a user of biocide,
Mm-hmm.
it can be using biocide, but it's not only this. We want to convince their customers that it's not because they have used or not a biocide that they have done their job. I remember I had some customers of mine who were saying to their customer, we don't need to use a product for this kind. We just need to protect your building for this. And the guy was saying, but you are not a real pest control company because you are not using a product. So I'm paying for nothing, which is completely false. Because sometimes you go to I always take the same with the doctor.
Yeah.
You know the difference between doctors in China or in Asia and in Europe. Huh? In Europe, you have a doctor with a lot of, let's say, not customers, but patients.
Yeah.
And it's a good doctor because he has a lot of patients. And in Asia, you go, it's a bad doctor because they should not be ill. And when you are ill, you don't pay. You don't pay. Because it means that, of course, if you drink 2 liters of whiskey every day and you smoke and you don't want to be ill, then it's crazy. But if you do whatever you have to do to protect your building, to be sure that everything is done properly, and then you have a problem, then you can act. But if you don't do anything, you don't listen to the pest management company, you don't use a pest management company who have signed this MOU, including the CEPA certified.
Voilà.
Then if you have a problem, you are also a part of the problem. You are not using the right company. That's the message we want to spread.
Understand. So it's a lot about creating a framework in the circumstances. And I mean, I'm way younger than you, but at the very beginning of my career, when we met.
But you know, it doesn't mean younger or older. Huh? When you understand, you can be young and understand everything, and be old and understand nothing.
Absolutely. But what I remember from the very beginning of my career, when I met you, you always were like really fighting for a big toolbox, which I always respected and 100% agree with. So the first thing I remember you saying was always, we need a big toolbox, and I fully agree. And I love your vision of our industry, and I thank you so much for fighting with CEPA and all the other associations you work in, that this is coming. This is becoming reality. So I think in the name of everybody that's member at CEPA and interested in pest management, just thank you, Serge, for so much effort you put in our industry.
Thanks to everyone also, because they were not supposed to. When I started again with CEPA, I told them, please don't talk about how many technicians we have in Europe. Don't talk about how much we do in terms of turnover, but who do we protect? Who are we useful for? And then we will listen.
100% agree.
If we just talk about ourselves, we at the end, we only interest ourselves. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Yeah, okay. I mean, what you said earlier is very important, I think. And a lot of people underestimate that because they think we are just pest controllers. What do we do? But listen, we are taking care of human health here. We're taking care of from farm to fork, from an agriculture to food production, logistics, to a supermarket and to a restaurant, everywhere. We're taking care of through the whole chain to keeping hygiene and pest problems, bacteria and viruses to a minimum. So I think we can be really proud about ourselves.
Yeah. Just a small anecdote. The girlfriend of my son, she worked a few months for a NGO.
Yeah.
As a how do you call she was helping people to organize how to save children and in Africa. She wanted to do it before she was too old.
Yeah.
She did it, and there were a problem of mosquito. And we sell to this NGO, not directly, a biocontrol product. It's not a product you spread, but it's a product to control larvae, and it's biocontrol. And she sent me a picture, and I will end on this, saying, even here, you are taking care of us. And that was great, because that means we take care as pest management. We don't simply do a business, we take care of people.
Agreed. And I think that everybody should know that next to your job, as you said, you work at CEPA, you work for our industry. So I think a lot of leaders in our industry that I got to know have that in common. They have a job, but they invest a lot of time in pest management because they're so passionate about it. And I've never seen that anywhere before. So for me, and I think I speak for so many young people out there starting in pest control, this is a true vision and true values that you don't find anywhere else.
It's not only a business, if you want to last, and I know you will last, it's also taking care of people.
Yes.
And taking care of people is also taking care of health.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do, all of us, I hope.
Yeah, me too.
And we finish on this.
Yeah, I think that's about it. So, Serge, thank you so much. It's been great to talk to you.
Take care.
Thank you so much.